So for this week topic in technopreneurship, we have the innovation and technopreneurship. The topic objectives for this week. After the discussion, the students are expected to differentiate innovation, creativity, and invention, identifies the types of innovation, and understand the principles for sustainable innovation. Innovation, creativity, and invention. Innovation is the process of turning the concept of innovation into a product or service that generates value or for which the consumers pays. So the idea must be replicable at an economic cost and must meet the specific need. So the innovation includes the deliberate use of knowledge, creativity, and initiative to extract greater or different values from resources and covers all the processes from which new ideas arise. So throughout the industry, the innovation also occurs when the ideas introduced by the client to better meet the desires and expectations of the customers. So it is the process of making improvements by introducing something new. So generally, as the introductions of the new thing or method, it concerned with the commercial and practical application of ideas or inventions. So all innovations begin with the creative ideas. So if we say creativity, it is coming up with the ideas or displayed by individuals. So meaning that creativity by individuals and teams is a starting point of the innovation. So the first is necessary but not sufficient condition for the second. So the innovation is the management of all the activities involved in the process of the idea generation, technology development, manufacturing, marketing of a new or improved products and services, or manufacturing process or equipment. So the invention is the creations of the new tools or the novel of compilations of existing tools. So what are the major types of innovation? So we have this disruptive innovation. If we say disruptive innovation, it is known as the stealth innovation, which means it involves applying the new technology or processes to the company current market. So it is stealthy in nature since the newer technology will often be inferior to existing market technology. So meaning it refers to a technology whose application significantly affects the way a market or an industry functions. An example of a modern disruptive innovation is the internet, so which significantly altered the way companies did business and which negatively impacted companies that are unwillingly to adopt it. Class disruptive innovation is differentiated from disruptive technology in that it focuses on the use of technology. So the disruptive innovators are the new businesses that challenge the existing firms and products. So they are often successful because they enter the low end of the market, snagging the customers largely ignored by established companies, thereafter the technology itself. The next type of innovation is what we call the incremental innovation. Incremental innovation is the most common form of innovation because it utilizes your existing technology and increases the value to your customers. within the existing markets. So almost all companies engage in the incremental innovation is one form or in a one form or another. So the incremental innovation class is a series of a small um, improvements or upgrades made to a company's existing products, services, processes, or methods. So the changes implemented through the incremental innovations are usually focused on improving the existing products, development, efficiency, productivity, and competitive differentiations. So many enterprises use incremental innovation to help maintain or improve the market position. So meaning that the incremental innovation has become the most common tactic in consumer technology industry as companies strive to regularly improve the personal devices with a customer-friendly features. The incremental innovators class. So the incremental innovators, these are become the common tactics in the consumer technology industry. So these are the existing businesses that innovate as necessary to stay in the game. So they remain relevant without causing the industry-wide stir. And the next is what we call the architectural innovation. Class, architectural innovation is simply taking the lessons, the skills, and the overall technology and applying them with a different market. So this innovation is amazing at increasing new customers if the new market is receptive. So most of the time, the risk involved in architectural innovation is low due to the reliance and reintroductions of the proven technology. So through most of the time, it requires tweaking to match the requirements of the new market. In 1966, NASA's Arms Research Centers attempted to improve the safety of the aircraft cushions. So they succeeded by creating the new type of a foam, so which reacts to the pressure applied on it. So yet it magically forms the back to its original shape. Originally, it was commercially marketed as a medical equipment, table pads, and sports equipment before having a larger success as used in mattresses. So the slow springback foam technology falls under the architectural innovations. So it is commonly as a memory foam. Another type of innovation is what we call the radical innovation. Radical innovation is what we think of mostly when considering the innovation itself. So it gives the birth to the new industries and involves creating revolutionary technology. So example, the airplane was not on the first mode of transportation, but it is revolutionary as it allowed commercialized air travel to develop and prosper. Meaning the radical innovators are existing firms that create the new information or products that transform the industry. So they rely on the company's organizational capacity to be successful. So that is radical innovation. So class, these are the prominent radical innovators. The Netflix is the excellent example of this. So when Netflix entered the home entertainment industry in 1997 as a mail-ordered or DVD rental service. And then we also have the Blockbuster as established company and Netflix as the main competitor. Underestimated the Netflix threat. So that is the one of the prominent radical innovators that we have. And then we have the John Deere stories, another example, how radical innovation can make or break a business. So one of the largest manufacturers of farming equipment, John Deere took the notice of emergent sensory technology and added the sensory to its tractors. So the farmers could track and monitor their crops, yield via the sensor, so which revolutionized the farming industry. So by embracing radically innovative change, John Deere created the raving fan customer by filling the unmet need in the market. And the next is the Apple. So the iPhone is another example of the radical innovation change. So despite of the device's worldwide popularity, many do not know how it came about. So the iPhone was not new on the technology. Its software and interface were derived from the iPad and existing Apple technology. What are the characteristics of the radical innovations? We have the use of existing technology. So meaning the technology may not have been used in the way they were using it, but they look or took the technology that worked and developed as a new use for it. And the second one, we have to tap an unmet need. So in some cases, the customers do not realize they don't have what they need until they finally do have it. So, and then we have the work toward a future goal. So the Netflix, for example, wanted to change the way people viewed the entertainment. And then John Deere, in our previous example, wanted the farmers to have more control over their crops. And the Apple wanted the handheld computers to be a reality. And next we have embracing radical innovation. Committing to a radical innovation is the first step in changing the industry for the better while growing the business. So what are the other types of innovations? We have product innovation. So if you say product innovation, that involves the introductions of the new good or service that is new or substantially improved. So might include the improvements in the functional characteristics or the technical abilities or the ease of use of any other dimension. And then we have the business model innovation, a method of doing business by which the company can generate the revenue to sustain itself, the informal and formal models that are used by enterprises to represent the various effects of business involves changing the way the business is done in terms of creating values. And then we have the market innovation, the development of the new marketing methods with the improvement in the product design or packaging, product promotion, or pricing. Next is the process innovation. It involves the implementation of a new or significantly improved production or delivery method. So, example of this is the just-in-time manufacturing of Toyota and Dell. So, it involves the less technological in advance, but more interactive and informative, intensive, mainly due to the characteristics of services per se. So, it can be found both in the manufacturing and service firms, since they can particularly and obviously at present provide the services to customers. The principles for sustainable innovations. Number one, we need to be inspired. In innovation, there should be a leader who can inspire others. So they need to possess the positive attitude, vision, and ability to communicate so that people will be able to acquire what they should emphasize, innovating products or services. No risk, no innovation. Most technopreneurship are risk takers. So because they are innovating the new products or services, which they have no assurance if it will survive in the market or not. So every businesses experience failure because failure is the best teachers to succeed and in the endeavor they embark on. The next principle is what we call the new product processes. Innovation starts with a vision. An innovator should understand what they intend to develop for the benefit of their customers and undergo with the structured process, which includes the idea generation, evaluation, we have the prototyping, and customer feedback and success matrix. The next principle is what we call the ownership. The business leader has all the ownership on the new products and innovation in such a way that it would generate the ideas and develop the appropriate business model. Next principle is the value creation. Once there is an innovation, those new products should have a value and will be served as the solution to the real customer problems. Next principle is the accountability. It is a standard that the team members and the leaders have the full responsibility and obligations in the innovations, meaning they have the commitment to manufacture the quality products and services as well as the distribution. The next principle is what we call the training and coaching. So, proper hiring and staffing of the people in the organization is a must to make sure that they are conscious of their responsibility and the right mindset to perceive the future innovation. So, the continuous coaching is necessary to maintain the attitude and the spirit. Next principle is what we call the idea management. In building the products and rendering the quality services, the organization should value the presence of the customers and sales members to have a brainstorming of what the business is all about or what is best for that company. Observe and measure. It is a need to track the results if it is already an ideal for the return on investment. So that is how the company will measure the profitability whenever they release their new products and sustain the needs of the company as well. And then the next principle is what we call the net results and rewards. So if the company achieved their ROI, or the return on investment, incentives for their employees is one of the great way of motivation. So there are several ways to motivate the people aside from financial aspects, such as the recognitions for a job well done. The idea presentations. Storytelling is if you are presenting, or make sure that it's not only about the facts of the products or services, but rather you tell a story where they will be interested to listen and focus to. And next, we have the musical presentation. So it will be more inspired to try to set some captivating tune or music that will help the presentation to stand out and to be remembered by the prospective clients. We also have the video presentation. So it is desirable to make a presentation that will have both the visual and the audio to make it as a video. So it is more appealing to the audience or clients as they can envision what your products or services all about. And then we also have the photo-only presentation. So you will use the photo-only presentation, which make your audience or your clients prone from reading the slide word for words, and the photos or image must be related to what they are presenting. Next, we have the immersive presentation. Most conferences, seminars, and startups usually use the immersive presentation, where they can encourage their audience to get involved on the discussion or on the open forum. So giving them a part to play on the presentation and providing them with a new initiative for the business. Question presentation. So this is a type of presentation wherein you ask questions to your audience to know if they are interested and make involved in the presentation. Demonstrative presentation. So demonstrative presentation is used if you are selling a specific product. So the demonstrative presentation is the best way to promote. So some clients would like to see and touch the product for actual demonstration. So they can try or even try the product by themselves. Humorous presentation. A speaker with a great humor will make the presentation livelier because the audience will become active in the discussion. So, however, the speaker should be careful of using the jokes to some clients to avoid misunderstanding. And then we also have the animated presentation. The animated presentation is one of the way of demonstrating the product instead of using the video. So you can film the product in three-dimensional style while the audience or clients can visualize the entire interface of the product. Props and presentation. So this is not a techie presentation that you need computers because you will use visual aids to make a creative presentation. Idea selections. So these are the steps introduced by Michael Putz for lead innovation management, which consists of the following steps. Number 1, we have rough selection. So in the first step, the shop has to separate it from the wheat. So the ideas without potential have to be selected quickly. So for this purpose, an ABC analysis can be used where ideas are divided into 3. Letter A, ideas, those that are necessary for further processing. B, we have ideas are those where you disagree about, good or bad, and if you are uncertain. And then we have C, wherein the ideas have no value and are to be rejected. The step 2 is the fine selection. In the next step, the shifted ideas are further selected. The method of dots gluing have proven its work. So each participants receive the 5 stick points together so you can get a ranking and a priority. Step 3, we have the detailed analysis. In the detailed analysis, ideas are qualitatively analyzed, and these are evaluated based on criteria. So, for product ideas, for example, these are the customer benefits, differentiation potential and competitive factors. We have the technical and economic feasibility. The decision-making process. It is an enormous task because the success on its process to came up with a great solution. So various methods, models, and processes can be considered when you are trying to decide something. So the 5-step process that an innovative leader can use. We have the problem or need recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, selection stage, and evaluation of decisions. To summarize the lecture, we have innovation, which says that it includes the use of the knowledge, creativity, and initiative to extract greater or different values from the resources and covers all the processes from which new ideas arise. Creativity coming from the ideas or displayed by individuals. Invention is the creation of the new tools or the novel of compilations of the existing tools. And then we also have the types of innovation. We have the disruptive, incremental, architectural, radical, the product, the business model, marketing, process, and service. In principles of sustainable innovation, An investor must be knowledgeable about the principles of the sustainable innovation, such as the inspire, no risk innovation, new product process, ownership, the value creation, accountability, training and coaching, idea management, observe and measure, and not result and reward. So class, these are the references we use for this week lecture. You may visit the website for further readings, information. Thank you and good day.